a final boarding call to the train to San Fernando, departing from platform 3. Passengers with tickets for this service, please proceed to board.
This was love, but when I hear this scene, you know she's a right to be. Now I am the last train, heading down the San Fernando. Coming 24, wind up on you, unlock your door, open your window. Girl, I am the last train, heading down the San Fernando. Coming 24, wind up on you, unlock your door, open your window. She want me go down there, ride it. So let me go down there, ride it. Tell what she telling me. What she said, you're coming San Fernando. She want me go down there, ride it. So let me go down there, ride it. Tell what she telling me. What she said, you're coming.
Audio check, 1 2 1 2.
In the morning, the neighbor dog barking. I hear people talking. She tell me pass through the back. Don't do me bad. You have a money man day. Look how your bills them paid, and you still playing game. Nobody wins at the end of the day. I know I'm not the one. I know that this is
Audio 1 2.
but when I check the scene, it's time for me to leave. Now I am the last train, heading down to San Fernando. Coming 24, wind up on you, unlock your door, open your window. Girl, I am the last train, heading down to San Fernando. Coming 24, wind up on you, unlock your door, open your window. She want me go down there, ride it. So let me go down there, ride it. Tell what she telling me. What she said, you're coming San Fernando. She want me go down there, ride it. So let me go down there, ride it. Tell what she telling me. What she said, you're coming San Fernando.
This is a final boarding call to the train to San Fernando, departing from platform 3. Passengers with tickets for this service, please proceed to board.
Even on she wedding day, look, she still calling me. She begging me to stay. She don't know when to stop.
I don't believe in love at first sight. Oh, you see, last week Friday night, meet a girl down in this place. She tell me her name was Miss Grace. She said, boy, I ain't still long. So Louis take her dance to this song. This don't have to be the last one. So then I ask what she drinking. She tell me rum and Coca-Cola. So darling, come a little closer. She drinking rum and Coca-Cola all night. Then she look me in the eye, say, when you get better mine. When that cut is one, she signal the bartender, bring it come. Start the trouble down to the ground. This kind of woman, where she come from, oh Lord. How she whining, so just one more before I go. It was rum and Coca-Cola all night. Oh Lord, we walking up in the place. I can feel my face, and as soon as I hold she and we go bounce up is the ex-man. Now they want to start a big fight, but I ain't come for that till tonight. So I'm picking up the next round. I ask them what all you're drinking. They tell me rum and Coca-Cola. Then she pull me a little closer. We drinking rum and Coca-Cola all night. Now it's plenty after 5. And the place still love my mind. When that cut is one, she signal the bartender, bring it come. Girl, they chopping all on the ground. The kind of woman where they come from, oh Lord. How they whining so, and nice and I still can't go. We drinking rum and Coca-Cola all night.
All right, I want to say it's special good afternoon. It's Thursday. It's Thursday, wonderful, wonderful Thursday afternoon here in beautiful Orlando. I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to each and every one this afternoon here at GT592 FM radio. A pleasant good afternoon. Hope each and everybody is having a great and a productive afternoon today. If you logged in here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's not a DJ session. It's strictly cricket program. Today, we'll get a little bit into my program today, but I want to say good afternoon to those people locked in on the Facebook. We live on the 592 FM radio app. We live there. We also live on YouTube. Just check me out on the YouTube channel on DJ Shaun Fantastic Songs YouTube page. We're there live. We also live right now on the Facebook page, as I said earlier, and also on the GT592 FM radio app. I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, it's strictly cricket. As you guys know, I've been doing this program for a while. I actually launched this program in 2017 down in the Virgin Islands, down in Tortola, especially for CPL. You know what? Since that GT592 FM radio, I'm officially here for the last 2 years. For the last 2 weeks, I said, you know what? Let me bring this platform to the GT592 FM radio family. All right. So for those people who's locked in, we asking everybody to please give it a share. Give it a share for us. Those people who's locked in right here, beautiful Orlando, also down in New York, down in Canada, all those relatives and friends and families locked in the beautiful island of British Virgin Islands today. Also, some people all the way from Barbados. I got some message already coming in from Barbados, also down in St. Martin, and further afield right here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. As you guys know, is the T20 Cricket World Cup. We have so much in store for you. We're gonna have a real packed program today, and for those people who's locked in on the radio, and always sharing, and always supporting. This is not a program where I'll be announcing names, and literally, I can't do that because of time. All right, so please bear with me tonight. It's just a sports program. So welcome, welcome, welcome each and everyone to those who are locked in here for the first time. I'm so excited to share this amazing platform with you. I want to say special happy birthday to Alex Shea. I know he's celebrating his birthday today. So Alex Shea, happy birthday to you, brother. And thank you for giving me this platform here to share it with all the listeners who is locked in from all over the world, listening to us, the broadcast right now. Before we get strictly into our conversation today, for all those people who's probably wondering what I am doing here, it's a cricket program. All right. So if you love cricket, this is the platform for you to be on here. We get straight into our cricket commentary. Um, Commentary, as I said, because I have someone to introduce to you in the next minute or two. He's all the way from the Bronx, all the way from Bronx, New York. He is no stranger when it comes to these type of programs. I had him a couple times now at Abby Tunes Radio. I think I think CPL, we did two programs there. And a couple years back, we did some programs as well when we were in the British Virgin Islands. It's the first time here for me. It's going to be the first time for him as well. GT592 FM radio. So I want to say welcome to Matthew Achaibar as we're going to activate the camera right about now. Let's see if we can get him there. There is Matthew Achaibar right there. Let's see him. Yes, it's happening right there this afternoon. Matthew, how you doing? Good afternoon to you, bro.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon to everybody listening in. I'm doing great. Great to be back. First time for the year.
Yes. He's always excited when it comes to CPL. He's always, when it comes to a Cricket World Cup. And you definitely have to be the first guest always on my cricket show. Matthew, how you been, man? It's been a while. I know the last time we talked to you was during CPL time. I know you're busy with school and all the activities and stuff. And I'm lucky to have you on board today to make it right on time for radio. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's been a good start to the new year. School's going good. I'm in my senior year now of high school, so looking forward to college and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a busy start, but so far so good.
Amazing, amazing indeed. As you know, Matthew, this is GT592 FM radio. I've officially started this radio here like about probably 2 weeks ago. And, I said, you know what, since that I have an opportunity to do this cricket program, I invited you to join me today. And for those people who's locked in here, listeners who may not know you, just give a brief introduction about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Matthew Achivar. I am 18 years old. I've been doing cricket commentary here in the United States. So I was born in Guyana, but I moved here really young, and I've been doing cricket commentary since I want to say about 7, 8 years old. Since 2021, I've been a commentator for minor league cricket, which is the minor league system for Major League Cricket, which has started recently to take off in the US. So yeah, during my summers, I spend my time doing commentary.
Nice, nice. And when last actually you did a commentary on a cricket game?
Probably around October. That's usually when place starts to get a bit cold here in New York. I think it may have been a softball game actually. Softball usually runs pretty deep into the fall. So I want to think that was probably the last game I did around October, maybe early November, probably not, maybe October.
Nice, nice. And I know you always keep active with your dad, Leonard Chaibar, and all the cricket the cricket fanatic, so to speak. Tell us your experience being a cricket commentator. I know you said that you're born in Guyana, living most of your life there in New York. How did you actually get into cricket commentary?
Yeah, it was from my dad. He's always been a commentator since I was little. I would always go to the games with him on weekends, and yeah, from there I just kind of had an interest in it from then, and then from when I actually started to watch professional cricket myself on TV and stuff, I was so intrigued by all the different commentators, all their voices, their unique styles, and yeah, I just sort of picked it up from there.
Well, listeners, for those who is locked in early, we're talking with Matthew Achaibar. And for those who may not know him, he's the youngest youth cricket commentator around. He have done 3 minor league finals already under his belt, and he's very much well known in the tri-state of New York. There's so much of wonderful things he have done, and I want to wish Leonard Achaibar as well, who is taking that little time out and locked in with us. Good afternoon to you, Lenny. Hope you're doing well. I want to say a big shout out as well to my Mamu down in Toronto, Canada, to Lake Raj and family, and all those relatives and friends, all the Achai Bars family there, who is taking a little time out, sending me their message and say you're sung in crystal clear, you and Matthew. So, Matthew, it's Cricket World Cup. Definitely, definitely. Have you got a chance to actually follow the cricket? Have you actually got a chance to actually analyze the game in terms of a cricket commentator statistics?
Well, I haven't been a big fan of the timing of the games. So I've been following very closely, but in terms of actually watching with school and with everything going on, the only game I've actually sat down and watched was the USA India game. I wish the timing of the games were a bit more like how the IPL is, but the latest game for us is 8:30 or yeah, 8:30 in the morning, so that's not ideal. The good thing is I have a week off from school next week, so if there's some interesting games at 8:30, I'll be getting up early to watch them. But yeah, for now it's just been following and watching highlights and stuff afterward.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. There are no easy game in this year T20 World Cup match. When you look at the games that has been played already, and I'm talking about, Pakistan literally survived a scary World Cup opener against, who did they play? The Afghans. After cruising, needed
Netherlands.
Netherlands, sorry. After cruising, needed 50 runs in the last 9 overs with 8 wickets in hand. They almost lose that game, but thanks to Faheen Ashraf in the end, they pull it off. That was a very close game. Close game as well. You talk about maybe Nepal versus England. England winning that
Yeah.
game by 4 runs. I really thought Nepal should have win that game. We had some very, very close game. We had a close game between Afghanistan versus South Africa. That game actually ended up in the two super over. So the World Cup has been very, very competitive. Your thoughts so far for the World Cup?
I think it's gotten off to a really good start. I mean, I think the glory of T20 cricket, as you said, there's really no easy. I mean, well, yeah, there have been some one-sided games, but going into a game in terms of preparation, you have to pretty much treat every game as serious as as the next. But yeah, it's been a really good start, as you mentioned. Some of the smaller nations or the associate nations have already made an impression. We saw Nepal nearly get a win against England. We saw, as you mentioned, Netherlands, and we saw the Italians. The first time Italy has come to the World Cup, we saw the Italians get a huge 10-wicket win over Nepal. So it's been an early impression. Scotland as well, who weren't even originally in the tournament, we saw them beat Italy in we saw them get a win over Italy as well. So it's been an early impression for a lot of teams already.
Definitely, indeed. We're gonna talk some very, very important game. We want to talk about obviously the West Indies versus England will be the headline. When I look at this year World Cup, I look at it at a very, very competitive stage. In the fact that, as you said, you mentioned the smaller teams have been competitive. Um, the bigger teams in terms of India, Australia, New Zealand, England, they are always the powerhouse when you look at T20 cricket. And of course, you have to include the West Indies as well, winners of 2012 and 2016. Let's take a pause there and speak about the West Indies team for this year T20 World Cup. I'll go through the squad with you and the listeners as well who is locked in. Good night to each and everyone who is taking a little time out and share with us. I really appreciate that. So the West Indies ICC Men T20 World Cup 2026 squad, Shea Hope, Johnson Charles, Shamran Hetmeyer, Brandon King, Rovman Powell, Shafin Rutherford, Quinton Sampson. Then you have the all-rounders in Roston Chase, Romario Shepherd, Jason Holler, followed by the bowlers of Matthew Ford, Shamar Joseph, Jaden Seals, Akil Hussein, and Gudakesh Moti. Your thoughts on the West Indies team?
I think that's probably about the best team they could assemble. Prior to the World Cup, I remember me and my dad were making like our projections on if we were to select the team, what would it be? I think that's almost entirely accurate to what I had suggested. My only difference was I had Alec Athanaze in my team ahead of Johnson Charles, but I mean I don't think any of them would have been in the first 11 anyway, so it probably doesn't really matter too much. It was a pleasant surprise to see Quinton Sampson in there. He's a guy that has exploded in the last year, so to see him get this kind of exposure at the World Cup level was a bit surprising. But yeah, other than that, I think the team was pretty much standard.
A lot of talk has been happening in terms of a name that has been causing a lot of controversy in surrounding Johnson Charles being selected in the West Indies team. Your knowledge of why did the West Indies probably select back a Johnson Charles rather than maybe Amir Jangru, for instance?
I think at the end of the day it boils down to experience. I mentioned Alec Athanaze was someone that I probably would have had in the spot, but I mean, yeah, you mentioned guys like Alec Athanaze and Amir Django and even a guy like Jewel Andrew. I mean, yeah, they're young. They do have all promising futures, but probably neither of them you could say have been, I guess, consistent enough and have really grasped that opportunity to stay in the team. Johnson Charles has had his ups and downs as well, but I feel at the end of the day, it comes down to just them picking the most experienced option. I mean, again, in terms of performance, you could make the case for and against all of them. I don't think there's really much of a night and day difference, but probably just the experience of Charles. And like I said, I don't think Knight Johnson Charles hasn't featured in any of the games so far. So if if they're probably not going to factor in much into the 11 or your main 11, I guess it wouldn't hurt to go with the more experienced option.
I mean, you mentioned Quinton Sampson, a guy who have a had a pretty good Amazon Warriors run, being selected in the World Cup. Your thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, it's great to see a guy like Quinton Sampson, who on the opposite end of the spectrum from Johnson Charles has very little experience. But it's nice to see every now and then a team capitalize on momentum that a player has. And Quinton Sampson has had a breakout year going all the way back to CPL. And he's just been riding the wave of that recent success. And it's been very pleasant. I know for a lot of Guyanese people who know Quinton Sampson and his background of playing tape ball cricket and stuff, it's been a very, very heartwarming story to see his growth into hardball and T20 cricket around the world. So yeah, it's great to see him in the squad.
Well said, indeed. I want to say good night to everybody that is sharing the page. Good night to Auntie Gita. Good night to Vashti. And good night to Davy. And to everybody else, to Leonardo Chibar, to Rosita, and to everybody that is taking the time out and listen to us. We also live on YouTube. We live as well on GT592FM radio. Let's talk about that game, West Indies versus England. Matthew, did you have a chance to actually look back at that game, probably the highlights or anything?
I did see some of the highlights, yeah, but not. I didn't really get to see the game in full. But what I will say is the West Indies have gotten off to a very, very impressive start. To knock off a team like England and to do so quite easily, posting 196 and then winning by about 30 runs in the end. Shafrain Rutherford, very good day for him. So yeah, very, very pleasing start for West Indian fans.
Well, let me just go back a little bit for those people who probably missed the game, the West Indies. I know the England, they win the toss and they asked the West Indies to bat for. Brandon King made one, Shea Hope made not, Shamran Hetmeyer 23, Roston Chase 34, Shafrin Rutherford 76, Rovman Powell 14, Jason Holder 33, Romario Shepard one not out, 196 for 6. When you look at the first 5 overs, the West Indies lose 2 wickets in I think they were 2 for 8 in 3 overs, and they were in a position of very much in trouble, so to speak. Shamran Hetmeyer came in at number 3, followed by Roston Chase came in at 4. You have seen the development in terms of Shamran Hetmeyer in the last couple of series. I know he had a very good T20 there in South Africa, but West Indies being always lenient, so to speak, in putting Shamran Hetmeyer at the top of the orders to bat at 3, bat at 4. Most of the time, you'll probably see Hetty bat at probably 6 or as a finishing role. And this World Cup, I've seen something really positive in putting in Shamran Hetmeyer at number 4. Your thoughts on that? Number 3, sorry.
Yeah, I actually like that, and it's something that Shimron Hetmeyer is a very polarizing player, it's fair to say. But it's one thing I have always said in the sense that we know how good Hetmeyer is as a finisher. We've seen it at the IPL. We saw it in Major League Cricket. He won like 2 or 3 games in a row at one stage in that tournament. But in terms of just taking more responsibility as a player, at the end of the day, he's one of the best batters in the Caribbean. And he's the type of player you want to see an added responsibility. And that goes for the CPL with the Amazon Warriors, and it goes for the national team. We want to see Hetmeyer really take more responsibility as an all-around batter, not just a guy that can come in, hit a few sixes, because the West Indies have plenty of guys that can do that. They have Rutherford, they have Rohman Powell, they have Shepard, they have Holder, they have plenty of guys that can come in the lower order and give you quick runs. Not everybody can really come in and develop an innings and really play as good as Hetmeyer can when he's in good form. So I like it. I like that bit of added responsibility they've given Hetmeyer, especially considering um, he hasn't been a set player in the West Indies 11 always. So to see them back him and push him up the order, it's been very pleasing for me. I've wanted to see him back earlier.
I mean, Matthew, in 2012 and 2016, West Indies had a guy by the name of Marlon Samuels. Do you see Shamron Hetmeyer actually play that Marlon Samuels role coming into the team batting at number three?
Marlon Samuels, maybe not quite. I think Hetmeyer is a much more aggressive player than Marlon Samuels. I think Samuels' role, I think the closest to him would probably be more of a Roston Chase. But I can definitely see Hetmeyer as long as he stays consistent. That's to me that's Hetmeyer's biggest problem. He will look good and then he'll get out in such a very disappointing way or a soft way sometimes, and it's like what could have been if he had stuck around for a couple more overs. So I think that's probably the only thing getting in the way of Hetmeyer's game. But I don't see him shying away from the aggression, and we've seen that despite, as you mentioned, we saw Shea Hope and Brandon King fall early. Hetmeyer came in at number three and was like, "Well, I'll fight fire with fire." He got a quick 20, couple of sixes, couple of fours. I don't see Hetmeyer shying away from that. So in terms of being that Marlon Samuels anchor type of role, I don't think Hetmeyer's play style is necessarily similar. But in terms of success, I think if he gets regular playing time in that role and can find some consistency, no doubt I think he can produce some runs batting at number three.
So from a position of 8 for 2, the West Indies out came Roston Chase and put on a very, very good partnership with Shamron Hetmeyer alongside Shofin Rutherford. As I said, they made 196 for 6, and bowling for the West Indies. Well, we had Godakesh Moti with 3 for 33, followed by Roston Chase 2 for 29, and Shamar Joseph 1 for 30. Jason Holder and Akil Hussein a wicket apiece. Tell us a little bit about Shofin Rutherford, because he have had a very, very inconsistent season. I know he had a very, very good SA T20 there in South Africa, where he scored like about 4 consecutive half centuries. Been scoring a lot, but playing for the West Indies, he haven't really done that. Yes, he had some good knock in the 50 overs and stuff, but I will literally put this innings here from Shofin Rutherford as probably one of his best innings, because he came out at a time I think West Indies was struggling about 70 odd for 4, and he literally took the England bowlers apart with very, very sensitive hitting. He battled Adi Rashid very well, and the rest of spinners in Dawson and company. You must be impressed with the Rutherford innings, Matthew.
Yeah, Sharfrain Rutherford played an absolute blinder of an innings, especially against England at a World Cup on a big stage. That's the kind of innings you want from Sharfrain Rutherford. And you mentioned there at the start, inconsistent has been probably, unfortunately, it's been a way to probably describe Rutherford's career. Whether it's CPL, IPL for the West Indies, he always shows that glimpse of what he can do, but rarely does he have like a full season where you could say, or a year where you could say, well, Rutherford was definitely at his best. He would have these good innings for sure, but it would be a string of failures or a string of lead scores after that. You mentioned in South Africa and now here, it's been hopefully a sign of a more consistent Sharfane Rutherford, and he got a quick little cameo in the first game as well. So hopefully, for the sake of West Indies, they can get Rutherford going at the in that finisher role. But yeah, consistency is it, and I think you can say that for the entire West Indies batting lineup. Really, the firepower is there, the skill is there, but the consistency just isn't. And I think for Rutherford, it's especially it's an especially paramount issue for him. As long as he can stay consistent and keep striking the ball as is, um, I think he'll do quite well.
I mean, when you look at his present West Indies team, Matthew, what is the weak point here in this West Indies team?
I think the top order, when you look at what we've seen from two games, Brandon King nor Shai Hope has really fired, and that is going to be a problem. The middle order has held up. We saw Hetmeyer getting a big score. We saw Rutherford getting a big score. But you, I don't think that's something you want to depend on every single game. You don't want to have two wickets down in the power play. You don't want to have King and Hope failing the whole tournament. And again, like I said, consistency for guys like Hetmeyer and Rutherford is a bit of an issue. So you want everybody to really chip in. So far that top order has not clicked. Shea Hope, who we know is probably one of the more consistent batters in the West Indies, has really struggled so far. Brandon King the same. So yeah, for now, for the first two games, it's definitely been how can we fix that top order.
And that's a very, very important and a very interesting topic that you raised there. Matthew, let's talk about Jason Holder because he's one of the most experienced member in this team. He made 33 off 17 ball with four sixes. Do you see Jason Holder coming up a little bit more to probably like a number five is saying the fact that, hey, West Indies lose at two early wickets and put in Jason Holder a little bit top of the order?
I think Jason Holder has had a really big rebirth. I think in the last year, going back to the last CPL, a guy that was kind of in nowhere in a sense. He wasn't like fully out of the team, but you got the sense that he probably wasn't going to be part of the West Indies future. And then boom, he has an incredible CPL with bat and ball, and now he's a staple in this lineup now. I think Jason Holder has done really well as that finisher role. I don't think that's something you want to mess with. I don't. I think West Indies have a very power packed middle order as it is. And I think you've got to rest your responsibility on guys like Robman Powell, on guys like Roston Chase, on guys like Sharfane Rutherford, on your specialist batters. If they can't get the job done, then there's your problem. But for now, I would keep Jason Holder where he is. I think you don't probably mess with something that isn't broken. And I think Jason Holder has done quite well without that bit of added pressure just to come in at the tail end and really do his thing. But no, I wouldn't really change much in the batting order, but you've got to find some way to get everyone going.
Roston Chase, do you feel that he is a permanent member, so to speak, in the West Indies team? I know he plays as a bowling all rounder, pretty much as a batting, but he's more as a bowling all rounder, according to Darren Sammy. With Gunakesh Moti there, who more you have? Akil Hussain there. That 8 overs you definitely gonna get. Roston Chase, is he a permanent member in the West Indies team?
I genuinely think so. I mean, I know there's a lot of opinion on whether or not Chase should be in the T20 squad. I believe so. I believe he should be purely in the sense, like you said, going back to that Marlon Samuels type of role. I think the closest person on that is well, probably Shea Hope, but he's the opener. In terms of the anchor in the middle order, I think Roston Chase is probably the only guy that can do that for the West Indies. And we saw a little bit of that against England. Him alongside with Hetmeyer, Chase got 34. It wasn't a blazing innings, but again, it was something that with a couple of wickets fall, you need someone to kind of come in and keep the runs churning, but also kind of rebuild and take it a little easy. And again, when you have six hitters like Hetmeyer and Rutherford and Rovman and Shepard and Holder, those guys are not going to waste time. Those guys are going to take risks. Those guys are going to play their shots. Having a little bit of a balance, a guy that can rotate the strike well with Roston Chase and kind of hold up an end, I think it's very valuable, and it's something that gets overlooked a lot in T20 cricket. There is still room in T20 cricket to have an anchor in the middle order, and I think Roston Chase is the only guy for that job. I mean, look back at the last World Cup against Papua New Guinea, and the West Indies were in some serious trouble of losing that game. And then Roston Chase came in, played a nice little innings, and ended up seeing them home. That CPL final that St. Lucia had won as well. Roston Chase, alongside with Aaron Jones, of course. But Roston Chase did a really good job of kind of repairing that innings and kind of setting everything up for Aaron Jones to win that game. And Chase himself had struck a couple of boundaries near the end. So he's a guy that has proven he can anchor and he can win games in big moments. So yeah, especially with Shea Hope failing, I think Rustin Chase has to be in there to provide that little bit of stability.
How would you grade the captaincy of Shea Hope?
I think it's been good so far. I mean, you can't complain with two wins from two games. Um, the batting has really come through for the West Indies, and I think that has kind of taken a little bit of pressure off the bowlers. I mean, their batting has been very impressive in their two wins so far. I was a bit surprised in the sense that we didn't see Akil Hussain a whole lot in the first game. We definitely saw him back opening the bowling in a much more comfortable role for him against England. But yeah, I think so far it's been so good.
And it's important, as you said, something there about Akil Hussein. I know he played during the couple of games that he played in South Africa, and Shea Hope was very optimistic in bowling him during the power play. Well, Akil Hussein, to me, if you're playing Akil Hussein, you have to bowl him at that power play. That is where he's more effective. I know they play against Scotland. He were introduced probably the fourth or fifth bowler during the middle overs. Your thoughts on that, knowing the fact that hey, Akil Hussein is not using the new ball as before.
Yeah, and that was one thing that did kind of surprise me in that Scotland game was how late Akil came into the attack. And I agree with you. I feel you already have a guy like Gudakesh Moti there, who I mean, Ian Bishop in the England game said that the middle over master Gudakesh Moti. I think you already have Moti, who's a lot more proven in the middle overs, and I think he's a much better turner of the ball once that ball gets a little bit old. Akil Hussein is a guy I think relies a lot more on just bowling wicket to wicket and getting the ball to skid. So if you're not giving him the new ball, which is the most suitable time for Akil to bowl, I'm not really sure how effective he would be otherwise. Especially again, you've got a much better turner with Moti who can do a lot more with the older ball. So yeah, that was kind of surprising. And he only bowled two overs, Akil, and it went, I believe, two for 26 or something. It weren't that great. But yeah, that was a bit surprising. But we saw him back with the new ball against England.
I mean, Matthew, you have known so much about the West Indies in terms of their record. The record has been very, very dismal, very, very disappointed in the last, probably 3 to 4 years in terms of, we're talking here about T20 cricket. Their record haven't really been up to par. And, there's a lot of reasons for that. When I look at this team here, I really feel that our bowling is not that much penetrative like, during the 2012, 2016, you had the likes of a Samuel Badri, a Sunil Narayan, a Dwayne Bravo, wicket takers there, where Darren Sammy could have called upon any time and, hey, I need a wicket. I really don't see this in the present West Indies team. Maybe a Godakesh Moti who's there, who have been very, very his economy rate has been very, very good. You have improved in terms of more of bowling line and length. He's getting wickets. Shamar Joseph to me has been a little bit disappointed. I know he haven't had a lot of cricket. He just came back from injury and stuff, but the wicket taking ability is not there. Alzari Joseph, one of our premier bowler, is not there. Your thoughts on the bowling of the West Indies team?
Yeah, I think the bowling so far, I think it's held up on a large part of their bowling attack will be from their spinners, as you mentioned. Moti has started the season well, started the tournament well. Akil Hussein, hopefully, we'll see him more in the power play where he can really operate at his best. Chase got a couple of wickets against England. So I think they'll rely heavily on their spin attack. Their pace attack, yeah, I don't think there's really that fear factor in their pace attack. I mean, Romario Shepherd got a hat trick, got a five for a very impressive start for him, but against England, he only got the one over, and he got a wicket in that over. But I mean, it's kind of interesting. You have a guy that took a hat trick, and he only gets one over in the next game. But yeah, it's the pace attack is for me is what could perhaps be a letdown. Um, Between Jason Holder, Shamar Joseph, Shepard, I think batters might probably look to target those overs. They have Matthew Ford and Jaden Seals as well in the team, but I don't know. I think the team is probably fine the way it is. I don't really think you would drop anybody for now. Like I said, it's been 2 games, 2 wins, so there's not really much to complain about. But yeah, I can definitely see the pace attack, especially being an area of concern later on.
I mean, do you see the West Indies team go all the way to the final and win the World Cup, Matthew? I know. It's listen, it's still very, very early in the tournament. We never know when you're talking about West Indies cricket. You know, they could be fantastic today, and they could be very, very disappointed next day. How do you see them in the T20 World Cup? Do you feel that they have it to win it as they did in 2012 and 2016?
I think if their batting really clicks, and here's some good news for the West Indies. As we mentioned, they've been winning games and they've put up 180, 190 without Shea Hope firing, without Brandon King firing. So they've been able to do that without their openers really getting going. If the West Indies can get at least one big performance from everybody in that lineup. We've already got a big one from Hetmeyer. We've got a big one from Rutherford. If we can get at least one big innings from King, from Hope, from Chase, from Shepard, and from Rothman, that should be enough, I think, for the West Indies. Do I think they can go to the final? Yes. Is it likely? I'm not entirely sure. As you said, the West Indies can range in T20 cricket, especially. I think it's their best format. They can range from championship contender to not even making the playoffs at all. So, that's just unfortunately that's how it's been the roller coaster ride of being a West Indies fan. I think they're definitely making the playoffs here with 2 wins now, especially a win against England. I think they've already pretty much gotten their ticket to the next round. But I think it's more so what are the other teams looking like in terms of the path to the final for the West Indies? And I don't think there's really a pull away favorite in this World Cup. I mean, yeah, India is a much different looking India side without the likes of Kohli, Rohit, Jadeja. We didn't see Bumrah in the game against the US, so it's a much more younger team. It's a much more different team. Australia is without Mitchell Stark, without their bowling attack is a lot different now. Um, Even England, we've seen England has not gotten off to a great start. A close win against Nepal, a loss to the West Indies. New Zealand have looked good. South Africa have looked good. But yeah, I don't think there's really that pull away favor that you could say, well, this team could dominate this tournament from start to finish. I don't think there's that. And I think once you get into the playoffs, every team will probably be about the same level.
Matthew, I'll ask you a very, very simple question. Who is your top four that you see will make it to the. Listen, we're not going to talk Super 8. Your top four. Matthew, top four for the World Cup.
I mean, my top four going into the tournament would have been South Africa, India, Australia, and New Zealand. In no specific order. I don't really know if that has changed.
There was no West Indies in the top four.
No, not initially, but I didn't put it past them. I had them I had them above England. I had them probably fifth above England. Um, Now that we've had a couple of games in, I'm not really sure if it's changed. I mean, I know the West Indies have won 2 games, um, but New Zealand and South Africa have gotten off to really good starts. India, a bit suspect in that USA game. Had it not been for Surya Kumar, they bounced back much better today against Namibia. And we only saw the 1 game from Australia. I think I could probably, at this stage, maybe put the West Indies above Australia, but it's hard. It's hard to leave out the Australians in any tournament, no matter what the team looks like. They've only played 1 game compared to 2 for the West Indies, so it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave Australia and India out of the conversation. And it's hard to leave out South Africa and New Zealand, who have gotten off to some really good starts. So I still have the West Indies as a fifth, but a much closer fifth than what they were before the tournament.
Would you say that India are the favorites to actually win the World Cup, Matthew?
I don't think so, honestly. I mean, like I said, India is India and Australia is Australia. I mean, when it comes to those two teams, it's hard to really pick anyone else rather than them. And India, with thanks to the IPL, India could field maybe three different teams, and the expectation would be the same for all three teams. You know, and even without the likes of Kohli, Rohit, and Jadeja and them, India can still field a really strong team, which is what they have now. And even some of the current players that are in the India setup aren't in the squad. There's no Pant, there's no Rahul, there's no Shubman Gill, there's no Jaiswal, there's no Iyer. Siraj wasn't even originally in the team. He came in because of the injury to Rana. But their batting, especially, it's not even probably the best batting lineup they could assemble right now without Kohli and without Rohit. Even other guys like Iyer and Gill and Rahul and stuff aren't there. So, but still, India is India, and especially at home, it's hard to bet against them, especially with that bowling attack. With Bumrah, once he gets back to really full swing, Siraj, of course, Chakravarti has been really good. Aksar Patel, we haven't seen much of Kuldeep, Arshdeep Singh. The bowling, I think, is really spot on for India, but their batting is very suspect. Their batting is, I don't think it's nearly as threatening or as dangerous as it used to be. But again, they've got match winners with the bat as well. But yeah, I don't think they could be considered really strong favorites. Like I said, I don't think there's any team that you would consider favorites.
Well, talking about India, the rivalry, so to speak, is Sunday. India will be playing Pakistan. That's gonna be huge. That's gonna be big. Who is your money on, Matthew, for Sunday game?
I'll go with India. I think that's pretty safe to go with. Although if it's one game that Pakistan always makes sure they've got their best ready, it's the game against India. So whatever level you think Pakistan is at, maybe push them a couple of levels higher for that India game. So that India Pakistan game is always going into it. It's always kind of a 50-50 despite the form of either team because listen, if that's the one game, if there's one game that we can win, let it be this one. So I think it's always a pretty even one, but I'll go with India. It's a much more power pack lineup. I think Pakistan, there's a lot of inconsistencies there. There's not really that same firepower as India. So I'll go with India.
You talk about the New Zealand team, the Black Caps earlier. I know they are a team that you can't leave out, man, because they play a brand of cricket, very very simple brand. When you look at the team this year, I really feel that New Zealand could literally goes into that final because of the brand of cricket they play.
Yeah, I've been a New Zealand fan since I was very little, so New Zealand has always kind of been my favorite team. But yeah, I mean, going into the tournament, I thought their batting would look really good. Tim Seifert has been off to an incredible start. Finn Allen is probably in the form of his life right now. He got dating all the way back to minor league cricket. He had to major league cricket, sorry. He had that big 150 at the Oakland Coliseum to kick off the season. That was probably one of the best knocks of his career. Struggled a bit with injury and fitness and that kind of stuff towards the latter end of the tournament, and it clearly had an effect on his form. Had a couple of months out of the game, was pulled out of a couple of series, but came back in the Big Bash and came back in a huge way. I think he was the leading run scorer in the Big Bash that recently concluded. So and now against the UAE made a big impression with that 10-wicket win with Seifert. The likes of Ravindra as well. Mark Chapman is a player that has come on the scene a lot recently. Glenn Phillips, Jimmy Neesham, the experience of him. Yeah, the batting was really good. The bowling was a bit of my concern because I wanted to see how the wickets in India would behave. we know typically from IPL, expect there to be a lot of runs scored. And with that bowling attack, the likes of Matt Henry, Jacob Duffy, Lockie Ferguson, Jameson is in the squad as well. I felt that bowling attack, if the conditions are batter friendly, I felt that bowling attack could probably go for a lot of runs, but so far it's been really good. Matt Henry has been impressive, as he always is with that new ball. Jacob Duffy, I believe, at one point, or currently maybe, the number one T20 bowler in the world. Um, Ferguson has had his ups and downs with injuries and stuff like that. Well, has gone for a few. Mitchell Santner has been really good, very economical stuff from him. So the bowling has held up really well so far for New Zealand. But again, once the game against South Africa, New Zealand and South Africa is coming up as well. That'll be a very big test for this New Zealand bowling attack.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, dear Matthew. I'm going to read some comments, some very, very interesting comments. And let's see. This one here is coming from Arjuna Basdeo. I think there will be three upsets. Zimbabwe could beat Australia tomorrow, Nepal beating West Indies, and Pakistan beating India. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, Pakistan and India, I guess you would consider an upset, but I don't because, again, like I said, that one game is probably, I think, where I always go into every India Pakistan game as a neutral. I always think of it as being always a 50-50 game, regardless of who the better team is. But yeah, I guess Pakistan would be an upset. Zimbabwe is an interesting one. I don't think they'll beat Australia, but the Zimbabwean cricket has been very active in the last year. They've played a lot of cricket recently. Um, and yeah, they've had a lot of exposure. And it's a Zimbabwe team that has got a couple of top faces. Brian Bennett is a very exciting opener from Zimbabwe. Um, Blessing Muzarabani has spearheaded their attack for a while now. They've got some really old faces with Brendan Taylor, and Graham Creamer is back in the squad as well. So it's a nice little mix of youth and experience in that Zimbabwe team. And Zimbabwe cricket has been very active. I don't think they'll quite beat Australia. I think them and Sri Lanka may probably be a bit more of a deciding game because Sri Lanka has started off their season really well. But yeah, Zimbabwe cricket. Watch out for Zimbabwe. They won't be an easy team, that's for sure. I just don't think it'll be Australia. If anything, I think it'll be Sri Lanka, but we'll wait and see.
Do you think Nepal have what it takes to beat the West Indies Sunday?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't. I feel Nepal's moment came against England, and they failed to capitalize on that moment. And well, we saw what happened against Italy. They fell flat really against the Italians. So I don't think so. I don't see Nepal pulling off another shock. I feel their big moment on an upset came against England. Everything was set up for them to win that game. They just couldn't get it done. I don't think they'll have that kind of performance again against the West Indies. It's just a thing with upsets. The science behind how upsets work. I don't think Nepal will do that again.
All right, I'll read some more comments. This one here is coming from Ravi Singh. Ravi Singh, right here in Florida. He said, "We got to hit the refresh button on the team and start again." Gotta say, shout out and good afternoon and good evening to Alric Grant. That's my co-worker right there. He's talking a little bit there about Pakistan. So Alric, gotta say, shout out and good afternoon to you. And Arjuna Basde once again. I think Pakistan could upset India because Pakistan have the feel of conditions in Sri Lanka. Also, good afternoon to Hiralal Beam. Yes, good afternoon to you, Hiralal Beam. Just before we wrap up today's edition, I'm going to tell you a little bit about all my sponsors and everybody who made this program here possible. I want to try to fit in Matthew Tribar for probably 10 minutes more because of program time as well. Good afternoon to you, Vashti John, and to Rosita, and to the Jadunot family there in Minnesota, to Paul, and to Shamiza Shamir, Awati Dunot, and to everybody else, guys. As I said, today is my brother Alex Shea's birthday. He will be on right after me. I think he's on 8 o'clock tonight. So um, Good night as well to those people locked in all the way down in Barbados. I had a message here coming from Vishal all the way from Barbados. He said he's locked in, listening to the YouTube broadcast. So thank you so much to Vishal, and also shout out to Lake Raj and family, and some people locked in all the way down in Tortola, to Gopal and Ravina. They're loving the broadcast there on YouTube, listening there in the beautiful islands of British Virgin Islands. So India, they played Namibia today. India made 209 for 9. I'll give you the scorecard for that. Ishan Kishan made 61, Sanju Samson 22, Tilak Varma made 25, Surya Kumar Yadav, the top scorer for that previous game, he only made 12. Hardik Pandya 52, Shivman Dubey 23, and 209 for 9. Namibia, well, Namibia got off to a pretty good start, because I was literally watching that game. They were 86 for 2 after 7.1, and then literally were 60 was 94 for 6, and they were bundled out for 116 there with Aksar Patel 2 for 20, and Varun Chakravarti 3 for 7, and Hardik Pandya 2 for 21. Matthew, a very, very convincing win for Team India.
Yeah, I think they needed that. I mean, as I said, that the game against the USA, although it was a comfortable win, I don't think it was really the start India was looking for in terms of clicking right away. Had it not been for Surya Kumar, USA could have very well won that game had it not been for Sky playing a big innings. This today against Namibia, it's Namibia, but still, opposition is opposition. I think today was a much more complete effort. The batting really came to fore. It wasn't just one man firing this time. And yeah, as you mentioned, the bowlers, especially in the middle overs, really pulled that game back in a big way. So much more complete from India today.
Matthew, we got about 10 minutes before program time. West Indies have what? They're gonna play Nepal. I think Sunday. That game will be played about 12:30 a.m. if my memory serves me correct. Um, what improvement would you like to see the West Indies team going into the next two games?
Um, I think their next two games against Nepal and Italy are probably two games that they should win, especially with the start that they've gotten off to.
They should win.
Um, they should win. Yeah, they should win. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that Italy game will be very interesting. I don't
Very much.
expect Italy to beat the West Indies, but we saw Italy earlier today, really impressive against Nepal, and it's just fun to see. It's just fun to see Italy in the World Cup, regardless of how they perform. So that'll be a game. Hopefully, that I don't know what time that game will be, but I might have to peep a little bit if the time is right. Um, but I think it's just more of the same, more using those next two games to really get players going. Like I said, if they can get a match winning performance from at least one from every member of that batting lineup, they could really make an impression going forward. So we've had Hetmeyer got a 50, Rutherford got a 70. If they can get against Nepal, if Rahman Powell can go crazy, if Shea Hope can get a big innings, if Brandon King can get a big innings, just keep that going. Just try and get everybody in form. That's probably it. They've started off really well. So just more of the same, and don't go in with a complacent attitude, because it's Nepal and Italy, but like we've been saying, the smaller teams have really shown up. So don't take those two games for granted, West Indies. Just keep doing what you're doing and try and treat every game as if it's a playoff game.
Well, Matthew, with that victory against England, I really feel that the West Indies made a very big statement that, hey, you
Yeah.
know what? We come here to win the World Cup with that victory against England. And, it's the same thing happened in 2012, 2016. Nobody actually give them a chance to actually say, hey, you know what? We're not going to give the West Indies a chance because, the record has been very dismal. But as I said, coming back to that game against England, what really made me happy as a West Indian fan to see the bowling unit click and to take 10 wickets and bowl out the England team. Gurkesh Moti was fantastic in the middle overs, getting wickets, bowling pretty well alongside Roston Chase. They used the conditions pretty well. The Wankhede stadium there, the pitch always tend to give a little bit more in the spinners. And Roston Chase inclusion in the team, I think, was very good, knowing the fact that the condition was suiting him. Akil Hussein bowled pretty well. It was a total team effort. And, if the West Indies continue to play like that, I really feel they are a team to reckon with.
Yeah, and going back to that series they had against Bangladesh, where they had an entire innings where there wasn't a single pacer ball. It was just spin
Yeah.
all the way from the West Indies. And considering the West Indies' illustrious history with fast bowling, that was a major shift from what we normally expect from West Indian cricket. We always know the West Indies have produced top line fast bowlers. To see that in the news that you went an entire innings just bowling spin, it showed a different side of the West Indies. It showed a more thinking, a more analytical side of the West Indies. That, hey, listen, we know our historical, significance. We know we produce a lot of fast bowlers, but a lot of the fast bowlers we have now just aren't working. They're not at that level. But we know what our spinners can do. We know the impact Moti can have. We know the impact Akil can have. We know the impact Chase can have. Lean on those three. And chances are you'll get 12 good overs from the three spinners. And like I said, I think they'll lean. I think it's a West Indies side that has come to terms with the fact, hey, right now our spin attack is probably better than our pace attack. So let's rely more on the spin, which is the complete opposite of what the West Indies normally does. But if it's working, then why not? Let's just keep going with spin.
Yeah, you definitely said it correct right there. We're gonna leave it there for now, Matthew, with 5 minutes remaining program time. I want to say thank you so much for joining in today. The GT592 FM radio. You're always here. Welcome whenever I'm on to come on. I don't know about next week if I'll be having you. I should have some people confirmation from Canada to come on board. But if you have the time as well, you could always stop by, give me a message and say, hey, you could come on for 15, 20 minutes. I'd love to have you as well.
Yeah, whenever. I'm usually free. As long as I'm good, I'll let you know. But yeah, I hope to come on. We've still got a long way to go in the World Cup,
A
so
long way,
hopefully
very,
we'll
very
we'll
long
meet
way.
again.
All
Yep.
right, and hopefully, I mean, by that stage, hopefully the West Indies will qualify for the Super Eight when I literally gonna have you. My next program is gonna be Monday. Yeah, it's gonna be Monday, maybe Monday or Thursday. So let's see how things roll.
Mhm.
All right,
Sounds good.
sounds good. All right, so Matthew, I want to say thank you for taking a little time out and locked in with us today. We always appreciate your support when it comes to a cricket fever.
Yeah, pleasure having me on. Good night to you. Good night to everyone watching, and hope to be back soon.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. There you have it from Matthew Achaibar, all the way down in the Bronx, New York. My first guest on Cricket Fever World Cup Edition. We got about 5 minutes more. We'll talk a little bit here as my time is getting close to wrap up. Nepal versus Italy today. Well, Nepal made 123 all out. Yes, 123 all out with the top score Asif Sheikh make 20 and Rohit Paudwell made 23 alongside Arif Sheikh 27. 123 all out. And bowling for the Italy, you have Krishan Kalugame 3 for 18 alongside Ben Maniti 2 for 9 and Jasprit Singh 1 for 8. Italy, well, they made a fantastic start to their campaign. 124 for no loss with Justin Musa 60 and Anthony Musa 62. 124 for no loss from 12.4 overs. So congratulations there to the Italy team. Yes, we're not talking soccer, we're not talking football, we're talking cricket. They beat the Nepal team today by 10 wickets. All right, so a little bit there, a little bit of wrap there about the T20 World Cup, guys. We talk a little bit there about West Indies cricket. We talk about the team. We talk a little bit about India versus Pakistan Sunday, and of course, give you all our predictions and more. All right. My next edition will be sometime next Monday or Thursday, according to how my schedule goes. That's how I normally plan my program. All right. I want to say thank you so much to the management team here at GT 592 FM Radio. And of course, thank you to all the listeners who take a little time out and locked in with us. We have people all the way from Tortola, Canada, New York City been messaging me, say they love the program. It's crystal clear, quality is amazing. And a big shout out as well to Alex Shea and to Tropic Flavor Entertainment and Navin and all the management team right here, GT 592 FM Radio. All right. This program also made possible with the kind help from some sponsors. And I want to say blessings and big shout out to Deo Moti Singh, Deo Moti and family, not Deo Moti Singh, guys, sorry. Deo Moti and family, all the way down in Boynton Beach in Florida. Thank you for your sponsorship for Cricket Fever during the CPL and right here now during the World Cup. And also to the Beam family. Yes, the Beam family here in Florida as well. They locked in and also came on board to sponsor this segment today of Cricket Fever. I have some more sponsor to announce, but that one will be featured for next week. All right. And also for my Sunday's program, it's always sponsored by Flash Zone Bar and Lounge there down in Barbados, St. Michael's. And they're getting ready for a big event happening Friday. You guys going to know a little bit more about that on tomorrow's segment. I probably going to do a little hour on the radio promoting that event. And also big shout out to the Zen family. Yes, the Zen Tavern family. You know, they have a Valentine dinner and dance, an evening of lovers and vibes. 14th of February 2026. You're looking for somewhere to go for Valentine's. Zen Tavern is the place to be. Dinner is 5 to 9. Dinner for two is 34.99, and that include all the wonderful delicacies and more, rather from the meal, from dessert, from alcohol. Is a total package there down at Zen. All right, so make sure you support that event. They have choice of appetizers, main course, and so much more. RSVP or give them a call 407-491-6299 or 407-283-1515. All right, a little bit there about Zen, a little bit there about the cricket program today. I want to take the time out and say thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, we're going to do this all over again sometime soon. It's GT 592 FM Radio. You've heard from Matthew Achaibar all the way from the Bronx, New York City, giving his prediction and more about the T20 Cricket World Cup. It's India versus Pakistan Sunday. That's going to be a very, very big game. Also, the West Indies will be taking on Nepal. I think that game will be playing 12:30, and the Pakistan game will be playing 8:30 in the morning. All right. I want to say a big shout out once again to the Beam family. Thank you for locked in. Thank you for the sponsorship. And also shout out to Deo Moti and family coming on board as well and sponsor this cricket program. This cricket program here is an idea that came from me. I've been doing this program since 2017. You guys may not know that. This program here has been happening since 2017 on Abby Tunes Radio. And this is my first segment on GT 592 FM Radio. And I'm so happy to launch a program like this. It gives me a great pleasure, it gives me great opportunity to showcase a little bit more in terms of the musical aspect of DJ Shaun Fantastic Songs. Um, on next week edition, I should have a guest all the way from Canada, and also Dong in Guyana will be joining me. All right. If you see I'm not reading the comments so much, it's because it's a cricket program and I'm really tied up with time. I know my boy Alex Shea is coming on in a couple minutes' time. It's not a DJ session where I'll definitely literally read comments and more. All right. If I have to say anything else, let me just run through back something here on my book. Um, Yes. So don't forget, guys, Zen, Saturday, the dinner and dance, and evening of lovers and vibes, 14th of February 2026. From 5 to 9. Dinner for two is 34.99, which include alcohol beverage, a choice of appetizers. You're also going to have main course, so much more. Give them a call or RSVP now to 407 491 6299. 407-283-1515. And also, I want to say good night and big shout out as well to Sheikh Samad. Yes, if you're looking for a realtor down in Orlando, you got to check out my boy Sheikh Samad. I'm going to give him all the ads and all those more information for you to follow. Is also big shout out to the KW Cornerstone, Keller Williams Realty, Sheikh Samad, for all your realtor need. Lots more information on next week edition. More sponsors going to be on board. And I just want to take a little time out and let's go back into the message a little bit. There is so much here I'm doing, and let's see. Yes. Um, Look out, guys. Look out. This platform here will be something different. This platform here is something I have created from for years, from since 2017 to now. And every World Cup, I love to give you a DJ Shaun Fantastic Songs sports edition, a cricket edition. And last night while I was thinking about how I'll be doing this program, literally, I just took a pen and a paper and I was literally just jotting down some information because the games starting so early. Sometimes games are playing 12:30 a.m. in the morning. Games are playing 4 a.m. in the morning. I don't get to see the game, so I can't really assess the game. It's only when I finish off from work, I will literally go in my room and check the games out and look at some of the highlights and stuff, and then I can make my notes and make my my statement in terms of coming into my program today. So it's a lot going into a program like this. You just don't do a program like this because you want to do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of research you got to do. So big shout out to you guys for making it possible. All right, I gotta go. Until next time, people, have a productive Thursday. Bye bye.
And I check out the scene, yeah. I don't believe in love at first sight. Oh, you see, last week Friday night, meet a girl down in this place. She tell me her name was Miss Grace. She said, boy, I still long. So Louis take a dance for the song. This go hot up.
Once again, before I go, I want to say happy birthday to Alex Shea, celebrating his birthday today, bro. I know your session is coming up in a couple minutes time, and all your fans and all your family is waiting on you to celebrate with you. And also, of course, your GT592FM radio family is waiting to have a great time with you. So once again, happy birthday to you, my brother Alex Shea. Before I go, I want to say a big shout out to Ramona Jibu. Shout out as well to Shalini, Arjuna. Also big up to Leonardo Chaibaran family, Alric Grant and family, Arjuna Basdeo. Shout out as well to my wife. I know you're probably driving, heading out somewhere today. Also, big up and good night to Zorida Ali, Gita Baldeo, Sorin, Gita Harry Pastor down in Queens, and also to Sunita. And to everybody else who joined in on the live tonight. All right, I gotta go until next time, people. To Raj and to Shamiza Budu, have a productive Thursday. Bye bye until next time.
And I check out this scene, yeah. Yeah. I don't believe in love at first sight. Oh, you see, last week, Friday night, meet a girl down in this place. She tell me her name was Miss Grace. She said, boy, I am still young. So Louis take a dance to this song. This don't have to be the last one. So then I ask what she drinking. She tell me rum and Coca-Cola. So darling, come a little closer. She drinking rum and Coca-Cola all night. Then she look me in the eye, say, when you get out of mine. When that cut is one, she signal the bartender, bring it come. Start the trouble down to the ground. This kind of woman, where she come from, oh Lord. How she whining, so just one more before I go. It was rum and Coca-Cola all night.
#1 West Indian DJ. You're rocking with the Virgin Islands #1 West Indian DJ. DJ Shaun of Fantastic Soundz.